everyone. So here we are talking about solving equations today. So we're going to solve this problem, 4 times x plus 3 equals 20, using 3 methods. And it's important you recognize all 3, but as always, as long as you find one that works for you, that's awesome. All right. So this is what it's saying is we're trying to find a number where if we add 3 to it, and then we times by 4, we get 20. So the first method you could do is solve by rewriting. And remember, before I do any of these methods, remember that you can't change the problem. So with all these methods, we're following math rules to help us solve it, but we're not changing the problem. You can't just magically say, I don't want to solve that problem anymore, I'm going to solve this problem. And I'll explain as we go through it. So we have the problem 4 times x plus 3 equals 20, and we're going to solve by rewriting. What that means is, notice that it's 4 times 2 things. So we can distribute that 4 here. So you have 4 times x, which is 4x. And then you have 4 times 3, which is 12. And then that still equals 20. So this is still the same thing as the original problem, just multiplied out. And now from here, solving for x, and again, for those who are still new to this or learning this, I like to draw a dashed line down the equal sign to show my 2 sides. And the goal is to get x by itself. So we have to get rid of this plus 12 first. So how do you get rid of a plus 12? How do you make it go to 0? Well, you minus 12. Or you can think about it as doing the opposite. Opposite of positive 12 is minus 12. If you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. Rewrite the problem. We didn't do anything with 4x, so that comes down. 12 minus 12, well, that's 0. Bring down the equal sign, and 20 minus 12 is 8. And then we have 4 times x equals 8. Well, what's the opposite of multiplication? Opposite of multiplication is division, so you divide by 4. And remember, if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. And notice what happens. What's 4 divided by 4? That's not 0. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So we have 1x equals, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. And keep in mind, 1x is the same as just x, so then we have x equals 2. And there's our answer. Great. So that's the answer to this problem one way. And we'll check our answer soon. Okay. Let's solve by undoing. So how does this method work? Is instead of distributing the 4, notice that this is saying 4 times a number equals 20. Well, what's the opposite of times 4? Remember, you can divide by 4. So what if we divide by 4 first? I'm going to draw a dash line down my equal sign. 4 divided by 4 goes to 1, which we don't really need to write. So then we get x plus 3 equals, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. And how do you get rid of a plus 3? You minus 3. Do it to one side, you do it to the other side. 3 minus 3 is 0, so we get x is equal to 2, which is great. Notice how it's the same answer, just a different method. And the last method you could solve problems by, 4 times x plus 3 equals 20, is solved by looking inside. Now this one is really more of a conceptual, like looking at the whole problem. So this is saying 4 times some number. So 4 times some number has to equal 20 if we're solved by looking inside. Well, notice, what do we know this number needs to be? If 4 times that number equals 20, well, we know that that has to be 5. So all of this, x plus 3 has to equal 5. So what number plus 3 equals 5? Or you can minus 3 to both sides, and what you get is 2, which is the same thing we got. So 3 different ways of solving these. Each is valuable on their own. More times than not, you might be using all 3 different ones at different times, and you just don't even know it. To check your answer here, remember we just plug it back in. So we plug x equals 2 back in. And what we want to determine is, is there still a true statement? So it's going to be 4. Instead of x, we plug in 2. So it's going to be 2 plus 3. And we're asking ourselves, does that equal 20? That's our way of checking our answer. Okay. Well, 2 plus 3 is 5, so you get 4 times 5. And 4 times 5 is 20. And that's how you know you did these problems right, where you don't need a teacher to tell you did it right. You can be your own teacher on these problems. I hope that helps. Down at the bottom here will be your turn to try all of them, with it getting a little bit more challenging as you get towards the end. Don't run away from it. Embrace it. Do what you know how to do. You can solve them. All right. Good luck, and bye-bye.